So in our last exciting episode, Wizard Shreesha Calmare cast Everett's black tentacles on the Alhoon behind the wall. Stay tuned to find out what happens next.
Shreesha, peering through maybe one of the slat cracks on the cart, sees the tentacles pop up, but doesn't initially know whether the creature has been restrained or not. Okay, so I've put a template there so you can see how big an area Everett's black tentacles covers. And then in the last part, I rolled too soon. I was actually supposed to roll at the beginning of the Alhoon's turn, but I'm going to use the roll from the previous part anyway. Alright, so continuing Shreesha's turn, I've pulled one of the 4th level spell slot markers for her casting of Everett's. That was her action. So now, what is she going to do? It really isn't logical that she would move, but on the other hand, she might be thinking, you know, that thing out there is going to be looking around for wherever good cover would be for for someone to cast a spell from behind, like a stone wall or a cart. Let's see if she decides to move away from the cart. I gotta get in the habit of rolling my other dice. 3 is a no, so she's gonna stay there. And we shouldn't forget that watching from afar, we have Giannis and Kosif. Let's see if they notice the spell cast and the black tentacles wiggling around behind the wall there. I'd say it's likely. These guys are pros. Yes, they do notice. Alright, so the last thing Shreesha will do as a free action is prepare her quarterstaff. She's crouching down in there, and she has her quarterstaff at the ready. She's gonna initially hold it two-handed for right now. That means we switch to the bad guys' initiative turn. And I think we'll start with the Alhoon. He has telepathy, and I think what he's going to do is tell the Big Gnolls over there to rush over to the cart where he thought he saw something and investigate it. So, although they don't speak the same language, I guess with telepathy you can get the point across, and so that's what they will do. They will move first. Alright, so that takes care of the Gnolls movement for the turn, and then since they're investigating, they won't be firing. The one guy with the bow won't be firing anything. So let's get back to the Alhoon here. Kind of went out of order, but this is kind of the way it flows. The Alhoon will just simply hover up in the air as movement. So at this point, Shreesha finds out that her spell has been resisted by this guy. As Shreesha's eyes grow wider watching these burly gnolls closing on her, she also knows that basically that Alhoon figured out she might be there. She has tricks up her sleeve, so we'll see what happens. When I mentioned about the Alhoon using telepathy, it wasn't a spell that he cast. It just falls under his languages. And also, he does not hover by levitation, so he's not casting a spell to do that. It's part of his speed, as you can see there, fly 15 feet. The spell the Alhoon is going to cast is called Globe of Invulnerability. An immobile, faintly shimmering barrier springs into existence in a 10-foot radius around you and remains for the duration. I suppose he could hover inside the globe. I'm not sure how it would affect his hover, but I'm just not going to get into that minutia. We'll just use the word immobile from that text, and he's hovered upward 15 feet. The globe will spawn itself around him, and that globe will not move from 15 feet up in the air until he drops the spell. We'll just do it that way. So he has done a free action to give the orders to the gnolls to move. He's done his movement, hovered 15 feet up into the air, and he's used an action to cast a spell. So that takes care of his turn. The goblins are watching all this go on, but you know what? They really have to man their position. There's really not much they can do. So that will end the round. Oh, and one last thing. Giannis and Kosef surely can see that these gnolls are on the move, but since Shreesha was invisible, I'm not sure whether they saw her when she came out of invisibility in the cart. I don't really know whether that's important. The question is, how many turns is it going to take them? I'm not sure they would be on the move yet, but how many turns is it going to take them to get to her, to help out, to come in as reserves? I'll roll a d4 and we'll see. 4 turns. Jeez, they must be asleep. Alright, with that roll, I guess we should roll to find out if they are actually on the move this turn. Seeing all this activity with the gnolls and the Alhoon, let's do likely, yeah. Do the heroes move out this turn? So will this turn be one of the 4 that it takes them to arrive on the table? High's 5. Yes, this does count towards the 4. So we'll leave this here. Set it to 3 for next turn. And oh wait, these little guys, the zany little Lost Gnolls, are going to be departing. They're heading in the direction of the town still. Now here's the thing. They're heading towards the town, and the heroes, Kosef and Janos, are heading towards this location. There is a chance that they will run into each other along the way. Wow, so no probability stack. I'm telling you now, if the heroes of Fenland run across these guys, they are dead. Let's see what happens.